Okay, let me just put this thing down. So what I was doing is I was just cleaning my eyebrows, as you can see. I'm just cleaning it. So okay, let's talk. Okay, whilst I'm doing my makeup, I'm gonna talk to you guys, and I do hope that you guys enjoy this. I'm not gonna do a major makeup. It's just something light because I have other things that I have to do today, so I need to be presentable. I want to talk about, I don't know if you guys have noticed this thing that's happening, the suicide. You know, everybody's, not everybody, but we've noticed recently, just about, I would say about 1 week ago, if I'm not mistaken, Regina King's son who committed suicide. And then there was the Miss USA. But amongst that, personally, I've heard of a lot of people, especially here in Canada. During this pandemic, there has been so many people who have committed suicide. Business people, normal people at home. People who just couldn't take it anymore. They were fed up and tired and so on. So, yeah. So I thought to myself, well, why don't I talk about my own mental health situation? And yeah, let me talk about it because I don't think a lot of people know it. But when you've gone through it, you kind of notice it when you speak to somebody or when you see someone who talks about it. Okay, so first of all, I think I always love starting with my eyes, and I'm going to use a present that I got for Christmas. My sister got me, I'm gonna show you guys, where's the other one? It's here. Yeah, for Christmas. I haven't spoken about it. In fact, oh, by the way, Happy New Year. It's not too late to wish everybody Happy New Year. I hope everything is going well so far. But there, so let's go. My sister, I've been wanting this for such a long time, but I just did not work it into the budget to get it. So my sister, without letting me know, she got these two Juvia's makeup palette for me. And she got me that for Christmas. So I'm going to show you guys. So she got this one here. This one here, which is the Saharan by Juvia's. And the other one is the Nubian. The Nubian 3 Coral. So this is my first palette from Juvia's place. And I love it. I was actually shocked. I was very happy when she got it for me. So let me just open and show you guys. So this is the Nubian Nubian Coral, Nubian 3 Coral. I don't know if it's Nubian Coral 3 or is it Nubian 3 Coral. But anyway, that's the one. So this is what it looks like inside. Look at that. Beautiful. I did try it on a few, and what I love is I found that it has a lot of pigment. Yeah, a lot of pigment. So that was that. And then let me open the other one. Let me open the other one. I don't know if I should keep the box though. I love it. But this is the Saharan by Juvia's place. And check me this. Beautiful, huh? So today I'm gonna use the Nubian palette because I don't want to. Oh, Sokoto, Wadabe, Bororo, Kia, Senegal, Jamila, Iman, Zoya, Chad, Katsina, Lulu, Fula. Interesting. Yep, so I'm gonna try it, but I'm gonna use the other one today. Maybe tomorrow I can do the Saharan palette. So we're gonna use the Nubian We're gonna use the Nubian Coral. Okay. My makeup, just to explain to you guys, I use Fenty. I've had this for quite a while. I'm actually supposed to go and get some new ones. So I use Fenty, the Fenty foundations. I use two tones because naturally I do find that our faces are not one skin tone. There's different shades onto our skin. So I use two of them. I use one which is it's darker than the other one, and so it's the 420, which is a little bit darker than the 440. Let me see. No, sorry. Let me rewind on that one. So I use the 440, which is darker than the 420. Okay, this is a 420, which I use on my T-zone for highlighting, and my 440, which I use on my around the outside of my face. So all, just like I said, it's for me to highlight, because I like to start my highlights with my two foundations. Okay, so there. And then of course I do use also this is a Fenty Pro Filter instant the primer, instant retouch primer. So I use the Fenty primer. That's what I use. So like I said, I'm not gonna do some fancy. I mean, like, I have no place to go. We're still in quarantine, you know, so I have no place to go. So my mental situation. Ooh. My mental situation. So let me just go back a little bit. Meantime, I'm gonna be, oh, by the way, before I go, and I also use my concealer. My concealer is by NARS. This is what I use, and it is the, what number is this? Ooh. Medium dark 3. So I had it, because I didn't want to buy the big one, so I had first bought the small one. See, I had first bought the small one just to see if it goes well, you know, and then since it's finished and I loved it, I went to get the big one, so you guys can see that. Yeah, so back to my mental state. So back in oh, by the way, I like to start with my eyes first. Okay, back in 2012, I went through some major situation in my life. I had just started my businesses and they failed, and everybody was laughing at me. Well, not everybody, but most of the people who didn't know anything about businesses found it that it was good for them to talk about it, you know, to talk about my failure, talking about the fact that I started a business and then it failed and so on. So I was going through that whole major change in my life, and I was extremely depressed. But the thing is that before I even begun before we even got to 2012, I think the depression, it was just accumulating. The stress, everything was happening. I really was not happy with my life at that time. So I used to talk about it to my husband, but I guess because he had never also met somebody who was going through that, he did not, he just thought, well, you just overworking yourself and that kind of thing, you know. And since I also had never met somebody who had gone through that, so I didn't know that I could actually talk to a doctor about it. So I tried to fix it by you know, talking to the people around me. So I did. But then they couldn't really help me. They could listen to me. My dad is the kind of person I always go to, that I will always talk to no matter what. I have that. It's very easy for me just to talk to my dad. But you see, he's still my dad, right? So there are things that I can talk to him, but I cannot go in depth. So I have my children, I have my business which is failing, and I'm depressed, I'm in debt, I'm everything. And so it's started just piling up. I'm not going to go into details, because I think the most important thing is, how did I heal from there? Even though I will say one thing is, I'm not completely healed, but over the years, I've learned how to control it. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit. So with that, I was in debt. I did not have a business anymore. It had failed, and everybody was calling me. I was depressed. I had no choice to get a job that I did not really love, and I love I love to work for myself. So having somebody who has always done that for themselves, suddenly they can't do it for themselves. They have to go and work for somebody. It's not the best thing for that person. So I was extremely depressed, to a point where one day, while everybody was sleeping, before that, of course, I started having suicidal thoughts. Yeah. I started having suicidal thoughts. I started having that. Suicidal thoughts every time, but I didn't know how to that was it. I started having suicidal thoughts. And people who knew me could tell that I was not happy. People who knew me could tell that I was not happy. But then I wasn't really telling everybody what was going on with me. And I'm very good with pretending that everything is well. I'm very good with that. So I started depressing really much, like really a lot. And I had 3 children at that time. Sorry, guys. I had 3 children at that time, and God, I didn't think that it was gonna be hard to talk about it, right? But it seems like it is. But anyway, I had 3 children at that time, and I was depressing. And every single time I would think of committed suicide, I would look at my children and I'd be like, okay, even if I'm not here anymore, who's gonna take care of my kids? Who's gonna be there for them? That was one of the questions. And another thing I used to ask myself is like, well, being a Christian, I know what it's like, what my Bible tells me about suicide, right? So what scared me more was the unknown. Meaning that if I die today, where am I gonna go? Because I'm a Christian. So I had that. I think that's what kind of kept me away from committing the act. So I would be like, but God, here I am. People are laughing at me. People who were supposed to be my support system, they're the first one who are really pointing their fingers at me and laughing at me. I am so in debt and I am not happy. I am extremely happy. Everything. just not working for me, you know. And the job that I'm doing, because I started doing I started working for a telecommunication company in customer service, and I didn't know. So one morning I woke up in the morning, I left everybody at home. My parents had come to visit. I left everybody at home and I went to sit in front. There was close to my house where we used to live downtown, there was a river. Was it a river? You know, like there was, yeah, I mean, like a kind of a river, where people used to go canoeing and everything. It was not far from my house. A canal, not a river, a canal. So imagine this, on a sunny day in summer, I wake up, nobody was up. I left home at about 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 or 7 in the morning, and I went to sit in front of that canal from 6 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, from 6 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in the blazing sun. And I could not feel the sun on me. I was blanked out. I was not there. I wrote to my husband and I said to him, I'm like, if this is it, I don't want to be part of it. What is the purpose of this life? If this is what it's supposed to be, then I really don't want to be part of it. And of course, they panicked, right? When I did that, I took the phone, I switched my phone off, and I threw it away. I threw my cell phone away. Can you imagine? I threw my cell phone away. Sorry, guys. Oh, here it is. I threw the cell phone away. Oh, God, Jesus. And so they started looking for me. They started calling me. They started doing all this. I mean, they didn't know where to find me. And the way, where it was not that far from where I used to live. But you've got to know that I'm there. And it was not my habit to go there. So I guess in their mind, they couldn't think like, could she be at the canal? So I sat there from 7 a.m. under the blazing sun until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I'll tell you why 3 p.m. in a few minutes. So I just started thinking to myself, I'm like, if this is the life that I'm supposed to lead, if this is my life, I don't want to be part of it. I'm tired. I'm tired of having to, you know, I'm just tired. I am not happy. I am not happy. And I know that I cannot count on my husband to make me happy. I cannot count on anybody to make me happy, right? But it's just me. But I don't know anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm not going to carry on with this. I mean, and I said, and I wrote all those words to my husband. I'm like, you know what? If this is the life that we're supposed to lead, well, I don't want to be part of it. I'm going to wish you a wonderful day, wonderful life. Take care of the kids. I want to disappear. So when I was thinking of disappearing, I was thinking of, I won't lie, I was thinking of, yeah, committing suicide. But also, I was thinking of maybe just running away and disappearing. Yeah, so I'm going to try this. What is this one? Let me see. Is it written though? The name? There's no name on it. The name of the color that I want to use. Sorry guys, there's no name on it, but I'll show you guys. I'm going to use it as my... Can I use it as a base or should I use something else as a base? Okay. Remember, I just want to use this palette and just see what it's like. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. This one. as my base. Okay. So now I was like, in my mind, that those were the two choices that I had. Either to just disappear and run away, or commit suicide. Throw myself into the canal, and that's it. But mind you, in the canal, there's a lot of people. People are running. Some people are basically, some people are canoeing. Some people are, working out. It's a buzzing. It's a weekend, and everybody's there. It's buzzing. And so when my husband saw that on his side, he panicked. He was like, whoa, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Where is she? Where are you? Okay, tell me where you are, and I'll come to you. And I did not, and I threw my phone away. So I sat there thinking about my life, and thinking of what I want to do with the rest of my life, and all those kind of things. And I was like, this is not my life. This is not the kind of life that I always wanted. This is not the kind of life that I think that you had promised me. So, So I sat there, and I did not even realize that the time was passing by. I did not realize at all it was passing by. And fast forward to the story, they finally had to call the police because they were like, okay, we don't know where she is. She's not answering her phone. So we might as well just contact the police. So my little sister was also there. So they contacted the police. So when they contacted the police found me. I think they tracked my phone. Don't ask me how, but they did. Because when I was sitting, there's two policemen that came, and they told me, they asked me, are you Lorraine? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you mind coming with us? I mean, how are you? I mean, we need to talk to you. And I'm like, no, don't worry, I'm okay. And they're like, no. I mean, do you want to come with us and we can just talk? And so I was like, you know what? I'm already tired. The funny thing is, when the police came and started talking to me, that's when I realized that I was under the blazing sun, and I started feeling the heat. Mind you, from all those times, I could not feel the heat. I did not feel anything. So that's when I came back into myself, and I started realizing where I was sitting, and the blazing sun, and so on, when the police came. So you cannot imagine how how serious that was. I mean, how can you sit under almost 40 degrees blazing heat and you don't feel it? That means you're not there anymore. You're gone. Your spirit is gone. You're not there. So that's when I woke up. I kind of came back to myself and realized, oh my God, I've been sitting here for this hour. I'm like, what's the time? They're like, it's 3 p.m. And they're like, well, can you come with us and we'll talk and that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay. And then they say, well, do you mind if we bring you to somebody? Oops, sorry guys. Camera. They say to me, they're like, do you mind if you come with us and you can get to speak to somebody because your family is worried? I'm like, why are they worried? They're like, well, I mean, you sent a message, and so we just want to be sure that you're okay. Okay, so if you can come with me. And then they ended up picking up the phone from where I left it. I just threw it away. And then they picked it up and they're like, here's your phone. So do you mind coming with us? And everybody was shocked. Like, what's going on? She's been And then I went with the police. I went with them finally, and I said, okay. They took me to the mental institution, to a hospital. That's where they took me. So when I get there, the guard at the before you go through at the door has to take everything away from you. Your phone, anything that you have on, your watches, your earring, they put it in the bag and they leave it there, and then you cross over. So the guy was doing that, and then he looked at me and was like, the kind of look where you're like, what are you doing here? This is not your place. What are you doing here? So I just looked at him and I was like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, oh, this is really serious. So the police had already contacted the hospital that they are bringing a patient with them. So when I get there, after that, the nurse greets me and welcomes me and says, "Oh, why don't you sit down?" I'm like, "Okay." It was like we're sitting at the entrance, at the corridor. So I'm sitting there, and then they were actually preparing a room for me. They were getting a room ready for me. Oh, by the way, guys, sorry. I'm using this one now. This here. Yeah. This one here. This is what I'm using. So they were getting the room ready for me. And I say, well, and I didn't know that. So now I'm realizing where I am. I'm realizing that this is not just funny thing, right? And I sat there. They called my husband and my family. And then so my husband and my dad, they came. So they had to stay outside and wait until, of course, I see the doctor. And I started realizing, I'm like, okay, God, I get the message. I don't want to stay here. Let me explain to you guys. Ah ouais? Oh, ok. Non, moi, j'ai pas vu l'appel. Voilà pourquoi. Peut-être c'est ça. Elle vient encore de vous donner?
Oui, c'est papa qui vient de me donner tout de suite là.
Ah, ok.
Oui, j'allais vous demander... Bon, merci beaucoup. Hein.
Derrière.
Oui.
Ok, à tantôt. So, guys, sorry. Where was I? So, they took me in, and I get to this place. I start seeing different sides to mental health. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys. Different sides to mental health. Here I have, there's this one guy. He was a black guy. He was in a hospital, you know, those hospital robe. He had that. And he was not that old. He was young. I think he must have been in his late 20s. Yeah, the poor guy. So he was there and he wanted to leave. And he was like, I don't know why they kept him, but he wanted to leave. And he was like, you know what, I've got to go because, and he goes and he takes the phone and he calls and then he's like, I have to leave because I have to go and move my house. You know, I have to move because nobody is there to move my stuff from the house and that kind of thing. So I was seeing this one. This was like, then there was this white guy, very tall, like beautiful, handsome guy, tall. And him, he was not really talking much. He was just walking around, like walking up and down, walking up and down, walking up and down. And then there's a point where he went into the room, into one of his room, and took the mattress from the room and put it on the corridor and slept on the corridor. I was like, okay, now I'm seeing it. Now there was this older guy. What? No. Before that, there was a lady. Yeah. There was a lady. I think it was a lady. Oh my God, I don't remember anymore. But I think it was a lady. A lady in her 50s, I would say, like late 50s. And she was just smoking like crazy. They had a big bag like this, full of cigarettes. And this woman will come and take her hands. She will go to the nurse, of course, and she's like, I want to smoke. And then the nurse will bring the bag, open it. She will take, I could see because there was a lot of cigarettes, like, she would take her hand and take like that a whole bunch of smoke, of cigarette. And then she will go outside because we're allowed to go outside. You can't go in for it. Just you have to open the door and then you're there. And she will stand there, 10 minutes or 15 minutes later, she comes back and dips her hands in the bag and goes out again and smoke or whatever. If she had 20 cigarettes in her hand, if it's 50, it's like a whole bunch like that. And she will go and smoke, and 15 minutes later, she'll come back and do the same thing. There was this older guy. So, older guy who was just sitting there and just watching and looking and not saying anything. He was also a patient. So when they after, like, I think I had been there for almost an hour, and then they came to give me food. So they told me go and sit there. So there was like a bar. I sat, and then I was eating. And then the older guy came and he sat like next to me, and he was looking like facing forward, not saying anything, because you could only sit like this and then face the other way, like face the wall in front of you. So I started eating, and then I noticed that he was there. I don't know if he wanted to talk. I don't know if he wanted to, what was the purpose, but he sat there and he was not saying anything. And he was facing this, he was actually my neighbor, and we're both looking at the wall. And he just sat there, and And I remember I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I started worried. I'm like, okay, is this something that this guy wants to tell me that he's not able to open his mouth and say? Sorry guys, I do take time for my eyes. Okay, so the highlight portion of the eyes, I'm using this one, the white one. Okay, this one. So he just sat there and then started facing forward. And then I was like, God, I don't think I'm gonna stay here the night. They were basically getting my room ready. They were getting medications ready for me and those kind of things. And I was in my mind, at that moment, I had made up my mind. I'm like, I'm not staying here. Forget it. I'm not gonna stay here. So in my mind, I had to kind of create a strategy as to how I'm going to do to go home, And my doctor came. Lorraine, how are you? I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm like, when am I leaving? They're like, well, you're not leaving yet. We're going to, when am I leaving? They're like, well, you're not going to be leaving yet. We just need to verify a few things, and then after that, we'll let you go. I'm like, good. So they sat there like, okay. I'm like, I'm like, God, I get the point, but I've got to leave this place. I'm not going to stay here. Oh, my. Oh, this is nice, guys. This is nice. Wow. So I'm using this red part here. This one with glitter on it. Yeah, this one. Unfortunately, I don't have the name, so I don't know. But you guys see it. So they're like, okay. Once we are done, then we're going to talk about you going. I started like, no, guys. I have got to go. I'm not going to stay here. I am definitely not going to stay here. So, and then I started looking around me, seeing all these different people, just realizing and looking. I'm like, what the heck? What is going on here? Why am I here? This is your own doing, So I said, no. I'm definitely not going to stay here. Definitely not going to stay here. Definitely not going to stay here. So I waited for the doctor to come and do what he needed to do. Okay, so because I found it's too red, I'm going to add some brown. So I'm using this one with the glitter as well. This brown one here with the glitter. This one here. Just to, on my outer, the corner of my eye. Just here. Yeah, because I don't want it to be too red. I was like, no, God. I need to find a way to get out of this place, because if I don't get out of this place, I think I'm going to lose my mind. So the guy came. Finally, I could see my husband and my father were outside waiting for me. And then he came and he wanted to talk to me, the doctor, with the nurse. And they say to me, well, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm good. And so whilst he was talking to me, he was kind of like, you know how it's like he was trying to read my mind without having to say a word. He was reading my mind, like trying to read and, find anything that was abnormal or something. He was really reading me. And he's like, how are you feeling? What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? And that kind of thing. And I'm like, listen, it was just, I don't have anything wrong with me. It's just I needed a break. That's all. And he's like, well, you needed a break from what? And I'm like, well, there's just a lot of things that's been happening in my life. So I just needed to kind of relax a little bit. What I'm telling you guys, I've never spoken about it to my family. We've never really shared it. We've never spoken about it. We've never done anything about it, I've never really spoken about it. So he was like, okay, but you need to rest, you need to sleep, you need to this and that. So he proceeded to tell me, he's like, whenever you feel the stress, whenever you feel that there's so much stress around you, what you've got to do is, here's what you've got to do. Whatever it is that you were working on, you've got to pull yourself away from it, and then don't think about it for that time. Don't try and solve it at that time, but come back later on to come and solve it. I don't know if it does make sense. I'm going to explain at the end, okay? And he says, you just need to rest. You need to sleep. You need rest, He says you just did a burnout. So I'm going to give you this medication. It's going to help you for you to relax and you to sleep, because you need to sleep. And he was right, because I had not slept for I don't know how long. I had not slept for a very long time. He says you need to sleep. And then he proceeded to prescribe a medication for me. I'm thinking, well, medication, so. I went, he invited my husband and my father to come in. And then he just started talking to them like about what was going on, what he noticed. And then he told them that she has not been sleeping for however many years. When we're talking about sleep, it's not the 5-2 second you sleep. No, we're talking about really good rest. And it's true. I had not been sleeping for This is not filming anymore. What's wrong with you? Parle. Ah. Je suis en train de faire mes vidéos. Tu es en train de m'arrêter pour ne rien dire. C'est ça que je n'aime pas avec toi. Ah.
Ok, fini, oui.
Oui, mais ça tombe bien comme tu as appelé anyway. Papa Gilbert veut te parler.
Papa Gilbert, c'est qui?
C'est l'ex-mari de maman. What's wrong with all of you trying to call me at this time? It's not my video. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Papa Gilbert m'a téléphoné.
Yeah, I know. You gave him my number.
Hein?
Tu as donné à Papa Gilbert mon numéro.
demander ton numéro.
Dad, do you know something? Ça, c'est lui, c'est bon. But you don't give somebody's number like that without letting the person know first.
Oui, mais moi, c'est ma mère qui m'a donné le téléphone. Il lui a dit que, je sais pas.
Ouais, mais il faut qu'elle apprenne. On donne jamais le numéro. Ça, c'est Papa Gilbert, ça, c'est bon. Mais imagine, c'est quelqu'un d'autre. On donne jamais le numéro de quelqu'un sans faire savoir, demander d'abord à la personne.
Oui, mais c'est ce que je viens de lui dire. Vous me passez
Elle donne le numéro comme ça, là. Qui l'a donné l'autorisation?
Parce que le téléphone, on ne le donne pas comme ça à l'insu de la personne à qui on veut voir. Tu informes d'abord cette personne-là, parce que moi, par exemple, si tu donnes mon numéro de téléphone,
je réponds plus.
Je vois que c'est un numéro que je ne connais pas, je ne réponds pas, comme j'ai des problèmes avec les corrections. Donc, vous allez trouver que je ne vous réponds pas, mais alors, tout simplement, il faut informer la personne que telle personne a besoin de vous. Ou bien, cette personne-là, vous pouvez dire...
Je vais prendre ton numéro et moi, je vais donner à la personne. C'est tout.
Mais je peux lui dire, bon, voilà, écoutez...
De vous appeler.
Je peux lui donner ton numéro, elle va te téléphoner. Mais pas l'inverse.
Numéro.
Parce que c'est comme ça, ce sont des dossiers élastiques.
Yeah.
Mais tu as parlé avec Séraphin pour cette histoire-là?
Je lui ai parlé, oui. Il a dit ceci. Avec $3000 même, on peut même avoir deux bonnes voitures. Ça veut dire qu'il faut juste se chercher à l'extérieur, au fait.
Oui, parce que si on a 2 voitures, c'est bon. Parce que je vous disais que ce projet-là, pour que ça puisse nous aider à nous dégager un peu de nos contraintes, il faut au moins 2 voitures.
Yeah. Donc, il a dit avec 3000 ou 3500 là, disons même peut-être même 4000, on a 2 bonnes voitures en même temps. Tu m'écoutes ou tu n'écoutes pas?
Bon, mais on va continuer.
Mais moi, je vous parle, vous parlez ailleurs et puis vous me dites vous allez continuer. Allô? Allô? Guys, can we put this thing properly? And he's gone. Au fait, il a sa nièce là, qui est vers les États-Unis, qui veut venir vers le Canada. Donc, okay guys, so I purchased this from Dollarama, the dollar store, you know, like a whole bunch of them. So they spoke to him and to my husband and my father, saying that I really needed to sleep. And so I said, well, sleep then it is. Oh, I slept, huh? The next day I went with my prescription to the pharmacy to get my prescription. I get there. The guy is like, he looks at he looks at the prescription and he looks at me. Excuse me. He looks at it and he looks at me. He looks at it and he looks at me. And then he's like, who gave you this? And I'm shocked for him asking me that. I'm like, well, my doctor. And he looks at it again and he looks at me and he's like, did you have some major breakdown? I'm like, yeah, I did. And then he looks at me and is like, in his mind, I could tell, like, he's like, you are young. What could have pushed you to that point, you know? And then of course, it's like he does not want to give me that medication, but he cannot keep it either because it's a doctor's note, right? And I need it. So, by the way, they did let me go because I was like, I'm not going to stay here, okay? So, he went And he went and he was preparing the prescription, preparing the medication. And I was standing there just waiting like that, you know. And then he was looking at me from the side of the corner of his eyes. And he kept on looking. And then he went back to his work. And he kept on looking. And he went back. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what the heck is going on? What is wrong with this guy? Why is he acting this way, you know? And then, let me see this. You guys, I bought this Elma Healthy Glow. I haven't tried it. I think you put it under your foundation. Or is it the foundation? Oh, it's a makeup plus gradual self-tan. Medium. Do I need to be self-tanned? Let's see. Let's try it. You know, we're trying everything, huh? So he kept on he fixed it, and then after that he came and he gave it to me. And as I was going, I could tell he was still looking at me. Ooh. Looks like this is not for my oh God. Oh for white girls. Oh, sorry. This is not for me. Oh my. It's okay. I'm gonna add my foundation on top. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do about this now. So, I took the medication and I went home. When I went home, oh, uh-oh. No. This is not for me. This is not. Oh my God. So when I went home, I took my kids from school and then I went home and I was like, okay, let me take this medication and see what happened. Guys, these pills were little tiny pills. Like, no, Almay, we're gonna put you away. This is, look at me, guys. Come on. No. This is not good. Oh my God. No, this is not working. So, oh my God. So, let's fix it, okay? So I went home. This is a 440. I went home and I took. Okay, you see how small that is? That's how small the pills were, and they were red. Okay? I took that pill and I went home. Guys, I went home. I took my kids from school. They came back from school. I gave them something to eat and I followed the prescription. I was told you have to drink this 2 of those small pills per day or per 3 hours or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I don't want to lie to you guys. So I took it and I laid down on the couch while the children were just playing on the, this is me. They were playing on the thing. They were playing just there in front of, and the TV was on. So I was like, okay, let me just lay down a little bit on the couch. So I did. 15 minutes, guys, was too much. Was too long. I slept and I could hear the children, but I couldn't move. I was out like a light. I was out. So my husband came. I did not really, see him when he came. And he took care of the kids, and I slept for 12 hours straight. When I slept for 12 hours straight, I woke up for about, I will say not even 30 minutes, just to eat. I woke up the next day just to eat. And then I woke up the next day just to eat. And then I went back to sleep for another 12 hours from those 2 pills. And I was like, what kind of medication did that give me? What the heck is this? Mind you, I don't even need to tell you that I never finished that prescription. Never did. So I was like, no, something is not, 10%. So I was like, no. My aunt went and she found, she did a Google search on that medication, and it was a medication prescribed for people who were going through major depression. And it was actually, let's see, yeah, my phone is, okay. It was for people going through major depression, and major depression. And of course, you guys know, or if you don't know, medications make you sick. Okay, they make you sick. So I'm like, okay, I can't be taking this medication to be out like a light for 72 hours. No. So what I did, I started, I said, okay, let me start following and seeing how other people are fixing their life. The first thing I had to do, now mind you, I've always been a positive person, always. I always am positive, regardless of what is happening in my life. I will always be positive. But I had to find a way to kind of integrate the new life in my present. So the first thing I had to do is ask myself, what was it that was making me unhappy? So my financial state was not good. I wanted this is the 420. I wanted my financial freedom. I said, I'm a businesswoman. I'm not there to work for other people. I need to be free. I need to be free. I need to be free. I need to really feel that I'm in control of my financial state. That's one. Second of all, I could clean, before we go to the second thing, I could clean for 12 hours straight. I would never rest. I will go to work, come back late. On Saturdays, I'll start cleaning my house from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is a big no-no. So I had to make sure that I created a program that I will follow. And then I started, and the second thing is I had to recognize what was triggering this depression. Second of all, I had to create a program that I will follow for myself. And third of all, I had to learn to notice when when things were becoming overwhelmed, and how to do what the doctor was telling me. Is like, leave everything, move back, and then come back when you're in a mental state to follow it. So that was basically what I did. So I said, well, I'm not a human being who's supposed to be living on medication. I'm not going to live on medication, because the more you take the medication, the more it makes you depressed. In case you guys didn't know, it does. So it makes you more depressed. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen. I am not going to, let's fix this part here. Okay, guys, I'm not really gonna contour that much. I'm not gonna contour that much. It's just something simple. The whole purpose of this is because I wanted to see how that new Nubian 3 coral was, on the skin, and I'm really loving it because I feel it's very pigmented. Okay, so I started looking at watching YouTube videos of mothers who were showing how they were taking care of their household, what they were doing. And then one thing I noticed is that these mothers had a plan for their everyday. They had to be organized. And it's true, if you're not organized, whether it's been business, whether it's been your in your everyday life, and that, everything is you're not gonna survive. So you've got to create a system where it keeps you organized. I started using my journal more, my agenda, writing in it. I created a schedule where my cleaning schedule. I created that. I started following, trying to learn about budgeting. I started doing that. And then I started being aware of when I was getting to that point of no return. Because when I left that hospital, I told myself, I will not come back here. That's what I told myself. I will not come back here. And another thing is, I started being grateful for what I have. I started celebrating what I have. I started to learn how to relax in the storm. I don't know if it's making sense. That was very important. Relaxing in the storm. No matter what, don't get hyper. Don't put yourself in the position where no, don't stress. Just relax. And I started doing that. Guys, like I said to you, I'm not going to put on fake lashes. I'm not going anywhere. The whole point was just to chat and do the whole makeup. And that's it. So I started noticing that. I started being aware of my surrounding. I got rid of negative friends. All those people who were laughing at me, I got rid of them. I got rid of negativities around me. And I said, well, in order for us to move, to do anything about this, we need to first of all fix our surroundings, right? So I got rid of that. And today, I started telling myself positive words. Even though I was a positive person, but I was never positive towards myself. I started talking to myself and reading, saying positive words coming from the scripture to myself. Imagine, guys, when I was depressed, I could not even look at myself in the mirror. And this time, I started looking at myself in the mirror. I had to force myself to look in the mirror. And so, yeah. Guys, it's when I tell you, oh yeah, this is the matchsticks from Fenty as well, okay, for my contouring. So I'm gonna try and contour a little bit. Okay. I have a big nose. So there's a way I can contour my nose, because my nose is pretty big. And then we want to contour here. And then we want to do here. And do here. Of course, there. Okay. So I started working on myself in that sense. And then, oh, sorry, it's magnetic, guys. Look. Ooh, this Rihanna did good. So I have espresso, I have cinnamon, and I have suede. Mind you, I don't use it that much, but we're gonna do that today, okay? For you, just for you. No, the cinnamon, it has a shimmer on it, and I don't think I want shimmer right now. I have already a lot of shimmer in my eyes, so I started working on that, and then I was like, okay, first thing is first, I am going to okay, I'm gonna use this same thing, okay? So I started looking at watching all these women as to how they were holding their house together, and I'm the kind of person, I like to live in a space that is clean. I like my space to be clean. I mean, you can use brush, or you can use, I prefer to use this because I have better control on this one. So I started doing that, and I started to learn about budgeting. I started always trying to learn more about money. We want money, but we don't know anything about money. We think money is just, you're supposed to run after money. No, money is an accessory. You don't run after money. When you run after money, money runs away from you. Just to let you guys know. So I'm like, okay, I've got to learn. And then one thing I did is oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't hide my pouches. I didn't hide my pouches. It's not too late. Yeah. So I started doing that. I started learning about what is it that I need to do to change anything about me. I don't want to change me. I don't want to change me, but I want a better me, a better version of me. So I started doing that. And of course, prayer. Prayer has never been something that you should, not has never, but it should always be something that you should cling on, because only God knows best, right? So I started doing that. And I can tell you one thing is, like I said earlier, one thing also that saved me was the unknown. I always told myself, is like, if you commit suicide, do you even know where you're gonna go? Do you know what it looks like? There's nobody who has come back and told you, well, that place is like this, that place is like that. Nobody has. So is that the chance you want to take? Is that how you want to be out of this world? That seems like it's an easy way out. Now, I'm not saying that people who've committed suicide, that it's I'm not I'm not really minimizing that. But what I'm saying for me is, I'm taking clean one because the other one is messed up with dark makeup foundation. So I said, okay, I need to do that. So I started working on myself in that way. I started looking at what is it that I could do. Oh yeah, this is very important. In my planning moment, what I did is I planned a day off for myself. And I planned a day off for my husband as well. So what happens in those days off? The day off basically is the day for myself. I go out and do what I want to do on that day. I take time for myself. If it means that I should go to it's a spa that I want to do, I decide to do the spa. And my husband cannot bother me on that day because I am off. And it was very important. So I took Wednesdays to be my days off, and then my husband had Mondays to be his day off. So on his day off, even if he went and it was his day to do what he wanted, meaning that if he wanted to go and to the mall and do whatever he wants to do, he goes and does that. I will not bother him and call him like, oh, the children need this. Oh, the children need this. Can you pass to the store and get me that? No. On that day, he is nowhere to be found in my mind until he comes back in the evening. So the same thing. On Wednesday, I went out. I went, if I needed to go to the movies, I needed to go and do my nails. I just needed to go and roam around town and just window shop. It was my day, and he had no right to bother me on that day. To a point where I used to take the phone and I'll leave it at home and I'll just go roaming around. But he knew on Wednesdays, it was my day off and I needed that. It was good because it was my day also just to recoup, And that's what we did. That's what we did. And so we worked like that for many, 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 many years. And I started feeling a little bit better. And I noticed something about me is when I am not happy, that whole thing of happy wife, happy home, it's true. If you are not happy, your home is not going to be happy. If your wife is, or your husband is unhappy, you've got to learn to listen to them. You've got to really learn to listen. And the person who's going through that depression moment, you have got to learn to talk. You've got to learn to open up and tell the real what is going on. Because nobody will know, right? And pray. Pray about the situation. And for me, that prayer time was me just talking to my friend, God, me talking to my Father, me just rambling, or me just going on about how life is unfair, whatever it is, I was talking to him, just the way I'm talking to you guys. So that's what I used to do. And then, yeah. And then, what else did I do? Let me see. I don't find the highlighter, so I'm gonna go with this one here. Strobe Profusion. I got it from HomeSense. No, Winners HomeSense. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of highlighters. I don't think it's actually for my kind, but I have it, so we'll do it. So I'm using this one here, the darker shade one, which is this. Like I said, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just playing with makeup. Yeah, like I was saying, if you're going through tough time, trust me, talk about it. Speak to somebody. And the person who is the ear listening should learn something just to listen. Sometimes we wanna talk, and we want to try and help the person and understand the situation. We want all these things. It's not about you trying to make me understand the situation. It's just I need to take it out of my system. I need just somebody to listen to me, you know? So that's what it is. You need somebody just to listen. And so just be the ear. Don't try and figure it out for me. Don't try and tell me what I should, or what I'm thinking, or what I'm thinking it is. No. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen. What else? There's something that I didn't talk about also. I think there's something I'm forgetting, which is very important. Something I'm forgetting. Oh, I didn't put a base makeup. No. Anyway. So what else did I do when I was going through that whole depression mode thing? Let's see. I'm using Sasha's Buttercup. I love this. I'm using that, okay. I'm gonna set the lotion. I should have done that before. Ooh, I should have done that before, but I guess I just... So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just remembered. So, like I said earlier, you have to pray. You have to pray about it. So, when I was praying and I was really crying, I was really in my feelings, and I was, lost, as they say. I remember I would talk to God. That was my way of... Guys, I'm loving this. It's beautiful. So, one thing is, I remember one day when I was really crying, I was in my feelings, I was, God, this Why this? Why now? Why? Oh, why? You know, I can't take this anymore. Blah, blah, blah. The whole shit, you know, the whole thing. So this is the word that he gave me. He said, no matter how dark the night, no matter how dark the night can be, the sun will always shine. And so is my love for you. I'm going to find the scripture and I'm going to leave it there, okay? On the scripture, it was talking about something about the sun, my love will always come. My love is, in the morning, my love is always there. I will always love you. Meaning that God is always there. No matter how dark the night. And then I started thinking, imagine somebody who's going through, I'm going to take an example, and please don't think that I am glorifying it, but I think I'm going to use this just to also encourage anybody who finds themselves in this situation. That imagine somebody who was traveling at night, and it was rough, it was tough, and bandits, they were being beaten and that kind of thing. How rough it was. There's always hope. The sun will always shine. God is always there. No matter what, God is always there. And that's what he was trying to tell me. Ooh, I've never used this one. Oh my God. I never used it. Guys. Ooh. Oh my God. Sorry guys, hold on. Can't talk with this thing. Looks good. I've never... My God, I love this red. Oh wait, you know what? We're gonna fix it. Hold on. I'm gonna fix it in about a minute. Okay. We're gonna fix it this way. So, Sonia have big lips. Okay, so I'm gonna fix it with my concealer because I'm seeing that some things are missing. So I'm gonna fix it with my concealer and this. Remember, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fix it. You just take some like that. And then you do this. You have to be very can't talk. See guys? Okay, so Okay. So there. So now I'm gonna just blend it out. Okay. I love this. It makes your teeth look whiter. Anyway, so like I was telling you guys, so that's the message. No matter how dark the night will. Okay, so I have NYX matte finish spray. Okay. Ooh, almost done. Okay. So no matter how dark the night, he will always be there, and he's always there. So there is no point of committing suicide, right? There is no you know, my daughter always takes my gels, everything, and I wanted to hold on. I hate that line. See that line? I hate it, so I'm gonna cover it. Non, 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 l'autre gel. C'est que tu n'as un paquet dans la boîte là. There we are. I'm leaving Canada. Oh, Canada, how do you like me? Liar, why you lying? So I'm using Mile Coil Sculpting Custard, just to push my baby hey, just to make my hair look a little bit clean. Even though I'm not a big fan of this, because I always find that it leaves your hair white. Leaves it white. How can you look this fine and you're not going anyway? You know what I mean? You're looking this fine and you are not about to go anyway. This is horrible. COVID, you need to go home. You really need to go home. Oh, you know what? Here is a brush. COVID need to go home. God. And then I'm gonna do a photo shoot outside. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment of was it Get Ready With Me? Well, little chit chat, huh? So anybody who's watching this, I am hoping that I have kind of inspired you to live, to carry on living, because life is worth it. It is good when you make it good. Nobody should push you to do something that you don't want to do. Another thing is that what you've got to realize, this is a spiritual side, right? Satan does not do anything. He will put doubt in you, and he will keep on feeding that doubt. And you can only feed the enemy when you give him the power to do so. Okay? Meaning that, I'm going to take an example. Let's go to the Garden of Eden, if you know the story. He came to Eve and he said to her, did he really say that you should not eat from that tree? Did he really say? Do you really think? And are you sure? That's how he works. He works in doubt. He plants it, and then you really have to feed it. And when you feed it, you give him more power. So whenever you're going through depression, just know you're not the only one who is going through that. But the more you concentrate on that thing that makes you depressed, the more you don't notice anything that is outside that is supposed to make you happy. I don't know if you guys understand. You've got to learn to be grateful for everything that you have, whether it be good or bad. Learn and say, this is good for me. Thank you, God. Thank you for what you've given me. You've given me another day. I mean, you wake up and you can breathe easily. There are people there who cannot breathe, who are just for that 5 minutes, and they just want to be able to breathe a little bit. Let me bring the camera a little bit down. I found that, yeah, like that. They find that they can't breathe, but you have that, you breathing easily without an effort, right? So you've got to learn to be grateful for everything. You've got to celebrate every moment, because every moment is a win for you. You see what I mean? So for me, I'm not saying that I'm there where I can say, well, I am, You know, no. There are times where you think there are times where it happens. It's like, oh God, can I make it? But one thing I always ask God for every single time when I wake up, I say, God, give me the strength. Because if you give me the strength, then I know I can do anything I want. I know. But the strength has got to come from you. It has got to come from you. So stop giving Satan that power. Remember, he works in doubt. He asks you questions where you have to start thinking. And the more you think and the more you're thinking, you start to feed that negative thought. You start to feed it. And then after that, bam, you're like, well, this is not worth it anymore. Let me tell you something. Suicide is the easy way out. Oh, yeah. Suicide is the easy way out. This life is meant to be fought. That's just my way of seeing it. It's the easy way out. It's the easy way out to the unknown that you cannot control, but you can control what is on this side. You see what I mean? So on this side, I can control, because another day, that's all I need. Just another day for me to work out and find a solution to my problem. Whereas if I go on the other side, I don't know what is waiting for me. The unknown should scare you. The unknown should make you think twice. And unfortunately, when Satan comes and starts feeding all these negative things, negative thoughts, he does not tell you what is waiting for you on the other side. Because the truth is, when you commit suicide, you do go to hell. I didn't say it. It's written in my Bible. If you commit suicide, you go to hell. There. So, I'm going to leave this with you guys. If anything, remember one thing. He's always there. Even in your moment of darkness, he's there. He says, concentrate on that light, because that light is me. So fix everything that you have on him. You understand? So, you know what I'm going to do? You know, we're supposed to help each other, right? So I'm going to ask you, how do you deal with depression or your mental health? How do you deal? So if you have any comment, any suggestions for other people who are reading or watching this video, please leave it below, comments below, and tell me how you handle, mental health. Because we all go through it. There's nobody who's exempt from it. There's nobody who is different. There's nobody, we all have our moments, and it's those private moments only you and God know. So with that, I hope you guys loved this makeup look that I did for you guys. I'm loving it. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually impressed. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you guys the makeup, oh my God, the lipstick. It's actually beauty glazed. I got it from Amazon. Yeah, beauty glazed, and then I used the reddest of them all. Do we say it reddest? Okay, well, in this place we do say it. So it was this. So other than that, I'm gonna wish you guys a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and we'll see each other next time. Bye, guys. Let me take a little picture on this one. Yeah. How about that? I'm about to go and do some photo shoot. Bye.